Imagine a world where the throne of England isn't won by swords or sorcery, but by the quiet, relentless hand of fate, twisting lives like threads in a tapestry stained with blood and tears. This is the story of Queen Anne, a woman born not with a crown's promise, but with the weight of a kingdom's shadows pressing down on her fragile shoulders. She wasn't heralded as a savior or a storm. She was just Anne, the second daughter of a duke, fourth in line to a throne that seemed as distant as the stars. But oh, how the stars would align in cruel, heartbreaking ways, propelling her to the heights of power while dragging her through the depths of unimaginable sorrow. Buckle in, because this isn't just history. It's a saga of love, betrayal, loss, and a quiet ferocity that burned brighter than any royal blaze. And at its heart, a mystery that's haunted historians for centuries. One that even today, in our modern labs, scientists are unrevealing with discoveries that whisper, what if her pain could have been eased? Picture it, February 6th, 1665, in the grand but echoing halls of St. James's Palace. The air is thick with the scent of beeswax candles and the faint metallic tang of winter frost seeping through the stones. Anne Hyde, Duchess of York, cradles her newborn daughter, tiny, squirming, with eyes like polished chestnuts. Her husband, James, the Duke of York, brother to the merry but childless King Charles II, glances at the babe with a mix of pride and indifference. Another girl, the fourth child, but only the second to breathe past those perilous first nights. James already has a son, Charles, and a daughter, Mary, both fragile sparks in a world that devours the young. Little does he know, this unassuming girl in swaddling will outlast them all, weaving her way through a labyrinth of grief to claim a crown forged in fire. Anne's childhood unfolds like a fragile flower in a gale, beautiful, but battered from the start. Her mother, Anne Hyde, that sharp-witted woman who dared to love a duke before marriage and paid for it with whispers of scandal, teaches her the quiet arts of court, how to curtsy without trembling, how to smile through the sting of exclusion. But at just 6 years old, the gale strikes hardest. Cancer claims her mother in a whirlwind of agony, leaving Anne and her sister Mary adrift in the vast, impersonal machine of royalty. They are shipped off to Richmond Palace, that ivy-cloaked retreat by the Thames, far from their father's scheming world of statecraft and secret masses. Can you feel it? That hollow ache in a child's chest, the world shrinking to echoing corridors and nursemaids' stern faces. Anne, with her wide eyes and trembling lip, wanders those gardens alone, the river's murmur mocking her isolation. "Why me?" she might have whispered to the willows, as tears carved paths down her cheeks. But in that loneliness blooms an unlikely salvation. Enter Sarah Jennings, 5 years Anne's senior, a girl with raven hair and eyes like sharpened flint, clever, ambitious, a fox in a henhouse of doves. Sarah isn't royalty. Her family's nobility is threadbare, her father a minor courtier scraping for favor. Yet she sees in little Anne not pity, but potential, a ladder to climb. They meet in the sun-dappled playrooms of Richmond, Sarah spinning tales of knights and queens, while Anne hangs on every word, her small hand clutching Sarah's like a lifeline. Laughter echoes where silence once reigned. Secrets are swapped under cover of night. Sarah becomes sister, confidant, shield. "You're not alone," Sarah whispers one stormy evening, as thunder rattles the windows and Anne buries her face in her friend's skirts. In that moment, a bond forges, fierce, unbreakable, or so Anne believes. Little does she know, it's laced with ambition's subtle poison. Fate, that fickle spinner, isn't done twisting yet. James, Anne's father, drops a bombshell that shakes England to its Protestant core. He converts to Catholicism. Whispers turn to roars, treason, popery. And then, in a match that reeks of political desperation, he weds the devoutly Catholic Mary of Modena, a girl of 15, barely 6 years older than Anne herself. Imagine the wedding, opulent silks and incense. But Anne, now 11, stands in the shadows, her heart a knot of confusion and resentment. This stranger, pretty, foreign, fervent, steps into the void her mother left, birthing hope and heartbreak in equal measure. Over the next decade, Mary endures 10 pregnancies, each a candle snuffed out before it can flicker. Stillborns, infants who gasp once and fade. Anne watches, her own young heart clenching in empathy she can't yet name. "How does one bear it?" she confides to Sarah one night, voice cracking like thin ice. Sarah, ever the pragmatist, squeezes her hand. "By surviving, my dear, by surviving." Amid this maternal maelstrom, politics churn like a storm-tossed sea. Anne's sister Mary, now 15, is bartered off to her cousin, the dour Dutch Protestant William of Orange. It's a match of cold calculation, James hedging his bets against his own Catholic leanings. Mary departs for Holland in a flurry of lace and tears, leaving Anne bereft once more. But oh, the irony, that signature on the marriage contract. It's the noose James ties around his own neck. For William, ever the opportunist, will one day sail it straight to England's shores. Fast forward to 1683. Anne, 18 now, blossoming into a woman of soft curves and steadfast gaze, is wed to George of Denmark, a tall blonde prince with a gentle smile and eyes like summer skies. Their union isn't fireworks, it's a steady hearth fire, warm but unflashy. They care deeply, exchanging letters laced with quiet devotion during his absences. But passion? That's reserved for the women who orbit Anne's world. George is kind, steady. He holds her through the storms without demanding the spotlight. They settle into the cockpit at Whitehall Palace, a warren of apartments once used for royal falconry, now their private eyrie. Anne, assembling her household, turns first to Sarah, now wed to the rising star John Churchill. Sarah, Mrs. Churchill, steps into the role of Lady of the Bedchamber with the grace of a conqueror, her eyes gleaming. Modest roots forgotten, she tastes power's nectar. Fine gowns, whispered counsels, Anne's ear like a scepter in her grasp. And then, the dream of motherhood crashes in. Within months, Anne's belly swells with promise, the first of what will become 17 pregnancies in 17 grueling years. Joy blooms tentative, fragile. But fate, ever the thief, snatches it away. A miscarriage, blood and loss staining the royal sheets. Anne, curled in her bed, sobs into George's chest, her body a betrayer. "Why won't it stay?" she wails, fists pounding the pillows. George, heartbroken but resolute, strokes her hair. "We'll try again, my love. We will." And they do. 2 daughters arrive in quick succession, Mary and Anne, chubby-cheeked miracles with their father's fair hair. Anne cradles them, inhaling their milky scent, whispering lullabies in the nursery's glow. For a fleeting moment, happiness is tangible, a sunbeam piercing storm clouds. But 1685 shatters it all. Uncle Charles II, the merry monarch, dies suddenly. Poison? Apoplexy? Whispers fly like arrows. James ascends as King James II, his Catholic faith a lit fuse in Protestant powder kegs. He showers favors on Catholic allies, sidelining the faithful Anglicans. Anne, raised staunchly Protestant, feels the rift widen like a chasm. Tensions simmer at family dinners, James's eyes flashing with zeal as he presses her to baptize little Anne as Catholic. "Father, no!" Anne cries, voice trembling with defiance and fear, clutching her daughter close. The argument erupts, plates clatter, servants scatter. It's the fracture that never mends, father and daughter, strangers in silk and spite. 1687 descends like a vulture. Another miscarriage rips through Anne, leaving her hollow, feverish. Days later, smallpox, a demon in the air, strikes George's household. He battles it, sweating and delirious, but the twins, too small, too tender. They wither before her eyes, tiny bodies cooling in her arms. Anne rocks them through the night, keening like a wounded animal, George's rasping breaths the only counterpoint to her grief. "My girls, my precious girls," she murmurs, lips brushing fevered brows. Stillbirth follows stillbirth that year, each loss a knife twist deeper. The palace, once alive with coos and laughter, echoes with silence, a tomb draped in velvet. Yet grief's shadow lengthens further. Mary's pregnancy swells with royal promise. A son would eclipse Anne and her sister, securing James's Catholic line. June 1688. James Francis Edward Stuart enters the world amid fanfare and suspicion. Whispers of warming pans and fraud swirl. Did they smuggle in a healthy boy? For Anne, it's devastation. No throne, no security. A Catholic heir dooming England's soul. Her heart pounds with dread as she paces moonlit halls, Sarah at her side. "What now?" Anne whispers, voice raw. Sarah's eyes narrow, calculating. "We wait for the storm, Morley." The storm breaks in November. William and Mary invade, the glorious revolution, a bloodless coup wrapped in righteousness. England, weary of popery, throws open its arms. James flees in humiliation, his army melting like mist. Anne, torn but pragmatic, sides with her sister, urged by Sarah's silver tongue. When James learns of the betrayal, his cry rends the air. "Even my own daughter!" Anne and Sarah flee under night's cloak, hearts hammering down back stairs, cloaks whipping like ghosts. Exhilaration mixes with guilt. Freedom's price is a father's broken heart. 1689 brings fragile hope. A son, William, Duke of Gloucester, born healthy, robust. Anne beams, parading him before courtiers, his gurgles a balm. She petitions William and Mary for Richmond Palace, a parliamentary purse strings pull, denied. George's military ambitions, blocked. Resentment festers. Anne's letters to Mary turn icy. "They fear me," she confides to Sarah, fists clenched. Sarah nods, her Freeman to Anne's Morley, pet names sealing their equality in private shadows. But behind those doors, Sarah's journals reveal contempt. Anne, dull-witted, a bore. Still, the facade holds, a velvet glove over an iron fist. Mary's jealousy boils over. Sarah's influence irks the queen. She demands Anne dismiss her. Anne refuses, chin lifted in rare steel. Retaliation. Sarah ousted. Anne's guard stripped. Courtiers shunned. Isolation claws back, but Anne endures, her gout, a fiery beast in her joints, beginning its torment. Then, another son born dead, limp in her arms. Mary visits, not with solace, but scorn. "That Churchill witch poisons you." Anne, abed in postpartum haze, weeps for her boy, Mary's tirade a lash on raw wounds. "Leave me!" she screams, voice shattering glass. Sisters no more. The door slams on their bond forever. 1694. Smallpox claims Mary, her body a battlefield lost. Anne, heir apparent, navigates treacherous waters. James exiled in France, plotting return. Her gout worsens, a relentless blaze from toes to knees. Wheelchairs become her chariot, pain her constant shadow. Appearance phrase, ruddy cheeks, bandaged feet, gowns rumpled from bedbound days. Sarah, ever blunt, calls her gross and corpulent, words that sting like salt in sores. Yet Anne presses on, her spirit a flickering candle in the gale. The cruelest blow lands in 1700. William, her 11-year-old miracle, succumbs to fever. Anne collapses beside his bed, cradling his cooling form, screams tearing from her throat, raw, animal, unending. "Not my boy, God, not him." George weeps silently, their world ash. James dies soon after, his widow pleading for Anne to crown her son. Anne scorches the letter in the fire, eyes hard as flint. 1702. William tumbles from his horse, dead at 51. Anne ascends, queen at last. Crowds roar. She's English, Anglican, one of them. Her coronation? A sedan chair bears her gout-riddled form to Westminster, pain etching lines on her face. But joy flickers. Under her, England and Scotland unite as Great Britain, parliaments merging after centuries of blood. Arts flourish. Handel's water music graces the Thames. Science sparks with Newton's laws. Economy booms on colonial winds. Anne, wheelchair-bound but iron-willed, attends sessions, her voice a quiet thunder in debates. She's no cipher, she's architect. Sarah reaps rewards. Her husband, Duke of Marlborough, commands armies to glory at Blenheim. But cracks show. Enter Abigail Masham, Sarah's cousin, low-born, gentle, a doe amid wolves. Sarah plucks her from servitude, placing her in Anne's household in 1704 out of familial duty, or so she tells herself. Abigail, with soft words and listening ears, slips into Anne's heart like sunlight through clouds. Where Sarah dominates, Abigail soothes. Where ambition lashes, kindness cradles. Anne, starved for tenderness, blooms under it. Pet names emerge anew. Closeness deepens behind bedchamber doors. Whispers, touches that scandalize if whispered. Sarah, absent in Marlborough's campaigns, returns in 1707 to horror. Abigail wed to a courtier, dowried from Sarah's own privy purse. Worse, Abigail in Sarah's old rooms. Betrayal burns. Sarah pens a venomous poem hinting at sapphic sins, car-strings, and black joke, veiled barbs at Anne's desires. She thrusts it at the queen. Such things in my power might lose a crown. Anne flinches, cheeks aflame, but steel hardens her gaze. You've gone too far, Freeman. 1708. George dies, heart failing in sleep. Anne, alone at last, shatters, sobs racking her obese frame, gout forgotten in grief's vice. Sarah's comfort? Removing George's portrait, demanding palace moves, mocking her Abigail solace. Stupid woman, Sarah sneers. Anne, voice quivering with fury, pens her husband. Make her cease this torment. To her friend and queen. The axe falls. Sarah resigns, Abigail keeper of the purse. Revenge sweetens. Abigail's husband ennobled. Marlborough sacked. Anne's health crumbles. Strokes loom, obesity a prison of flesh. By 1714, death hovers. July 30th, paralysis strikes. August 1st, she slips away, her physician murmuring, sleep was never sweeter to the weary than death to her. Her coffin, vast as her sufferings, takes 14 bearers, in dignity in death, as in life. Sarah's memoirs? A final twist. Idiot queen, propped by my genius. But Sarah dies rich, her contempt a hollow echo. Anne's legacy? A phoenix from ashes. Second daughter, survivor of plagues and plots. She reigns amid prosperity's dawn. Union, enlightenment, empire's seeds. Tragedy forges her. 17 pregnancies, 1 survivor past 2. All lost to what we now know as autoimmune fury. Lupus? Hughes syndrome? That blood-clotting thief? Historians pored over portraits. Malar rashes blooming like war paint on her cheeks. Migratory pains charting her decline. And today? In July 2024, scientists at Northwestern cracked lupus's code, a rogue enzyme, TXNDC5, sparking immune chaos. They reversed it in mice, eradicating symptoms, hinting at cures for the millions still chained. Imagine, Anne wheeled through palaces in agony, could have sipped a pill, birthed healthy heirs, danced at balls unbandaged. Her story isn't just tragedy, it's a beacon. What if we rewrite the endings for those who follow? What a woman, what a life. If her fire moved you, if her heart's quiet roar echoed in yours, hit that like button. Let it fuel more tales like this.
Subscribe, ring the bell. Together, we'll unearth the unsung queens, the shadowed sagas. Until next time, remember, even in the darkest throne room, one woman's grit can light an empire.